everyone, and welcome to the Jeff Bullas Show. Today I have with me Matt Clark. Matt is the founder of the Virtual Edge, through which he has helped 1,700 plus entrepreneurs from 26 plus countries create systems to grow exponentially. He is a distinct expert in the field of sales, marketing, and business development with more than a decade of experience in various industries from energy to telecoms and more. He's also a TV host of the Rainmaker Show, which is launching soon, and it's aired on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, Samsung, and LG TV. Currently, he's on a mission, we love a good mission, to help service-based entrepreneurs create freedom through systems, and I believe that his story will resonate with you guys who are listening in. So he has spoken in different stages around the world with the likes of John Demartini, Kane Minkus, Les Brown, Paul Armani, and many more. So, Matt, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me on, Jeff.
So, Matt, you're dialing in from downtown Vietnam. So, even though you're from downtown Johannesburg, South Africa.
Yep.
So, Matt, why are you in Vietnam instead of South Africa? And that's my first question, and I've got many more.
I would say the number one reason is wanderlust. I love to travel. And, prior to, I'd been to the side of the world before, but I'd never fully experienced Asia. And so, my wife and I 2.5 years ago decided that we can either buy the house that we're living in South Africa, or we can sell everything and go travel. And so we took option number 2. It's amazing how much stuff you have in a house that you don't realize until you have to get rid of everything. And we weren't going to rent.
And I'm sure you haven't seen it for years.
Yeah, some of the stuff you haven't seen for years, but you never know when you're going to need it, right? And we kind of looked at each other and we're like, all right, so do we get a storage locker, or do we just say, you know what, screw it, we just going? And so once again, option number 2. And so we sold everything. So friends, family, Facebook Marketplace. My wife was an absolute machine when it came to that. And then we had a whole bunch of stuff that just didn't sell. And we found this company that is like an auction house. So they literally came with a couple of trucks, loaded everything on, and we left and they sold everything. They took a 20% fee and gave us the rest of it. So I know it all just worked out great. And we stashed some stuff at my mom's house and my dad's house. Apart from that, we've got up 2 bags.
Well, I'm sure your dad and your mum are going to say to you one day, come and get your shit one day, right? Because it's still sitting in the cellar.
Well, the good news is okay, so there's a story behind this. I mean, when I moved into the one house, my dad was like, hey, can I store some stuff at your house? I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. He took an entire bedroom to store his shit in it. Plus he had crap in the garage. None of it was mine. And it was full. And so when this opportunity came, I was like, woohoo, payback time. But we actually, we didn't want to keep stuff for the sake of keeping it. So I think I maybe got 1 bag of clothes that's there. And it's just literally all our warm clothes, because it's so warm in Asia all the time. You don't need jackets and jerseys and stuff. So that's all I've really got there. We were kind.
Okay. So when you say warm clothes, it's not clothes to keep warm, it's clothes to keep cool. Is that what you're really saying?
No, clothes to keep warm. So jackets and jerseys and, big stuff to keep warm. Because in Asia, it's just hot all the time. So, you don't need jackets and jeans.
Oh, right. So you got
nothing.
You got rid of those, did you, or you've put them in storage?
I've got 1 bag of those clothes at my dad's house.
Right. Okay. So he's got the warm clothes, you got the cool clothes. There you go. Is that right? So right.
You got it.
Okay. Well, I'm from Australia, so I'm a bit of a slow learner, ex-convict and everything. So,
but we like to barbecue, drink beer, and play rugby, man. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, look, I used to like watching rugby till Australia keep beaten all the time, so I decided that I might as well watch something else, right? So, anyway,
Yeah, they had a bit of a fall off. Yeah.
oh yeah, we won't go into that, but it's yeah.
Yeah.
We
Well, I'm
hired
glad South Africa went the other way.
yeah. Well, we hired a coach that didn't know what he was doing, or just, I don't know, was smoking the wrong pipe, I think, whatever you call it. But anyway. All right, so let's get on from smoking pipes and warm clothes and cold clothes, and let's move on to. So, Matt, you help people generate leads in a digital world so they can actually make money. So, tell us about what you do
Yes.
in, like, give me a thumbnail sketch of what Virtual Edge does, and you're doing it with a partner.
Yes.
But before we get to that, um, what led you to do what you're doing today? So, like, some people do art, some people do entrepreneurship, some people do, you know, paint pictures, photography, dance. What made you do what you do? Well, did you go to university? Get a marketing degree? Did you go?
Nope.
No. So, what
Yeah.
was the call for you to do what you do today? Like, you're going, God, I hate my life. I'm a waiter, and I am, or else I'm a ninja in Japan. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Um, I'm shit at ninjaing. What do you?
Can't throw a star to save my life.
I can't throw star things very well. So why do you do what you do, Matt?
Yeah, well, funny enough, I actually started off, my first job was being a waiter. And I realized that, yeah, yeah.
Okay, right.
But, I'm kind of like, I've never really had a calling since I was young. And, there's those people who they just know what they're going to be when they grow up. They've got a vision, they go out and get it, and they do it.
Yeah.
Right. Or their parents push them in a direction, but like they've got a direction. I never really had that. I never really had any ideas of where I wanted to go, or what I wanted to be, or what I wanted to do. And my dad was like, well, one thing I know for sure is you are going to university, because no one in our family has gone to university before. And I kind of looked at him and I was like, yeah, you barking up the wrong tree here, man. I hated school, and now you want me to go back. I just got out. Now you want me to go back for another 4 years? That's not going to happen. So I got a job as a waiter, realized that I was really good with people, and I made some decent money as a waiter. And I was partying quite a lot at the time. I think I was like, just before I turned 18. And I'd saved a whole bunch of money. I had rolls of cash in my cupboard. So I was pretty good with money, like save half, spend half.
Mm-hmm.
And so the one day I think it just got too much, and I ended up crashing my dad's car. And he went into the cupboard, pulled out the money, bought me a ticket over to the UK to go and do something, like anything. He's like, just go and do something. You're not doing anything here. And so there I landed up getting a job and I'm going way back, but it kind of all leads into each other. And the first job that I got there was actually installing Sky TV onto the roofs.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at this, and it's like from 5 a.m. until 11 p.m. It's freezing cold. I'm like, I hate this. This is the worst job ever. So it lasted a week. And then I landed up in a job doing door-to-door sales, selling gas and electric for a company. And I loved it. Turns out I was really good at it. And I did that for a year in the UK, came back to South Africa, and I'm like, now what? There's no opportunities like that here. I got a call from one of the guys that I used to work for. And he said to me, as I remember, I was working for one of my dad's friends at the time, because I just needed to do something. I was doing nothing. That's the problem with not having directions. Like, where do you go and what do you do? And if you've got a whole bunch of money, it's like, well, I don't need to do anything. And so I remember getting the call. He phoned me on a Wednesday. He was like, Matt, you need to come and see me. You need to fly down to Cape Town. I've started this business. This is what it is. Easiest thing ever, selling telephone systems to businesses, door to door. And so he called me on the Tuesday. I quit my job on the called me on the Wednesday. I quit my job on the Thursday, flew to Cape Town, started there, and that just completely took off. We opened up an office we started off in this tiny little garage in a warehouse in Cape Town. And then we grew to open up an office in Joburg, in Durban, and all around the country. And then I actually landed up, getting out of that and starting my own business. And a couple of years down the line, so now 8 years later, I've been selling telephone systems. In the last business, we built it up to $6 million a year in 4 years. So a really good business, but it was the golden handcuffs. And so I said to myself, I'm like, I need to travel. I need to get out of this thing. It's sucking my soul dry. I hate it. And so I sold my shares and I went looking for what's the next step. And I wanted something that could give me freedom, that I could use systems, that I could use technology, that could earn something other than South African rands. Because you know what that's like. Trying to travel on the rand is a horrible experience. Even if you have a lot of the things lying around, it's just scary. And so I started going to these events. All these speakers came to South Africa. And I looked at what they were doing, getting on stage, speaking, making money, traveling the world. And I was like, this looks amazing. How do I do this? And I went one step further and I looked at the systems they were using in the background, and it was all of them were using Infusionsoft. So I thought, well, why not? Let me go check this out. I understand sales processes and systems. Now here's a tool that can automate the entire thing. This is the best thing I've ever seen. And so I went and got certified. I flew to Arizona. The guy said to me, if you sell 12 of them in the next 3 months, we'll give you your certification feedback, which I did. And then it kind of just took off from there. We started helping people automate their sales processes. But now we realized that, okay, you can automate, but now you've got to feed the beast. So how do we do that? LinkedIn, Facebook didn't work for me. Google didn't work for me. None of these things worked for me. So I got one of my friends was using LinkedIn. And she said to me, she was like, man, you got to check this out. It's just the easiest thing to do. And I looked on and I'm like, oh, this is like virtually knocking doors, except I can skip the red tape. I can just go direct to the business owner and start that. And so we started just reaching out to people, putting a process together, started working for us. We started helping some clients. I started speaking on stages around the world, and it really just blew up. And, now we've just been making it better and better and better. And we've gone through the times in the beginning where LinkedIn was amazing and you could just send stuff out and have millions of messages and calls booked, through the times where LinkedIn started shutting people's accounts down, through, now when everyone's getting back on again and just like spamming people and automation and AI. And we've kind of weathered through all of that and realized what works and what doesn't work. So a bit of a long answer, but it's a wild ride.
No, it's a good answer, and it is a long answer, but it's also a good answer. And you just mentioned we're battling the algorithms of the platforms, and the algorithms are designed for them to make more money, not designed for you as a business owner. So
exactly.
So I've got like 55,000 followers on LinkedIn. Engagement's not what it used to be. I have 560,000 followers on Twitter. The engagement's not there again because you are removed from the stream to maximize revenue for the platform. So tell us about how you overcome that in the latest version of LinkedIn to generate leads. Because, okay, so number one, you need to get leads, then you need to get them engaged, then you need to actually make money out of them. So maybe let's just dumb it down to keep it really simple. So how do you generate leads? How do you continue to keep them engaged? And then how do you make money out of those leads? Let's maybe just dumb it down to those 3 steps. Have I missed a step in that? I think that's pretty well it, isn't it?
I think it's pretty simple. It's in the nuances where the things work or where it doesn't work. I mean, we've literally seen people that have come in, they've got great LinkedIn profiles, they're doing all the outreach, they're doing all the stuff that everyone's supposed to do. And then we go and make a couple of tweaks and then, but they're getting no engagement, they're getting no leads, they're getting no conversation started. We go and we help them do a bit of market research, make a couple of tweaks, and then the thing just blows up, right? Like crazy. I mean, the other day, one of my clients, he works with CISOs, Chief Information Security Officers. He did a post out that had 180,000 views. He had 1,300 engagements and over 280 comments, right, off of a short post. And he only got 5,000 followers, 5,000 connections.
Yep.
So the key to getting this right is very simple. Number one, it's simple, not easy. Okay, a distinction there.
Mhm.
But number one is you've got to decide who is your ideal client and get really targeted on that. So we call this the power of one. Solve one big problem for one ideal client. Most people are trying to put everything that they do on there, and their profile starts looking like a CV, like they're applying for a job and how great they are and their skill sets and all the rest. We turn that into a landing page. And like,
Right.
if you think about a landing page, it's got one big promise. It's got a video, it's got testimonials, it's got what this thing is about, showing them how you get them from point A to point B, and it's got a couple of other points in there too. And so that's the first step. So the second step, and we always tie that first step in the positioning around what's that one outcome that they can get. So a measurable outcome in a fixed time frame through a system or methodology. Once we've got that dialed in, then we start actually figuring out who is in the network. Because if we're trying to go after, let's say, CEOs, but CEOs of tech companies, and everyone that you are connected to is a systems engineer from the previous organization that you were in, well, your stuff's not going to get engagement because no one's going to care, right?
Yep.
So we first take a look at who is in the connections. And then based on that, that tells us what the next steps are. Because if we've got a lot of people who are ideal clients, first steps are run a poll, drive engagement. We're asking what is the things that they want to know most about. Based on that, create a lead magnet and then drive traffic to that lead magnet to get people to raise their hands, open up a conversation, qualify them, and get them on a call. Then you create a video out of that, put it up onto an article page, drive traffic to that, and you can even start running ads once you found a winner, and it generates conversations. And so the key thing is the more specific you are and the more targeted you are and really understand who your ideal client is, the better it works.
Right.
Now, if you don't have ideal clients, if you don't have them as part of your network, then your first goal is going to be, well, I need to go and do market research to figure out what are the big pain points that they're facing, what are their fears, their goals, their desires, and how does what I do relate to solving those problems with a specific outcome? Because that's going to get your positioning. Once you've got that, then your next steps are, I've got to go and build more of these connections, and then start taking them through, and then go back taking them through the same process. It depends.
Yeah. Is this all done on LinkedIn?
All on LinkedIn. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
All on LinkedIn.
So how do
you the interesting...
Yeah. So how do you get, so you got engagement, you've got traffic, you've got comments. So can you collect leads on LinkedIn?
What do you mean by collect leads?
Well,
we get people raising their hands, start a conversation, get them on a call. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's one. But can you capture their email? Can you own the client instead of LinkedIn owning the client? In other words, it's all on their platform.
Yeah, you can 100%. There's a couple of ways to do this. If you put your lead magnet onto a landing page, you can do that. There also are like the tool that we use to do the automation to send people messages has also got a piece of it where you can actually enrich their data, which will pull their email and their contact numbers that are linked to their LinkedIn account into the system. So what we do a lot of the time as well is now it sits in your CRM is when we're sending LinkedIn messages out, get the emails, get the contact numbers, and now we can also send emails and SMSs.
Okay. So you're doing that with platforms like Infusionsoft?
No, we've got our own platform, Rainmaker AI.
Okay, cool. So that's your tool, which basically is that got like a what can we say, connection into LinkedIn?
Correct.
So you've got so LinkedIn is allowing you to actually plug into their network. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the trick is with all of these AI tools, because everyone shouts from the rooftops like automation is bad and everything is not. Automation is bad if you abuse it, right? These LinkedIn will shut you down if you abuse it. So the trick is to do it in a way that is still within their rules, still within their guidelines, still actually using it what it's designed for, which is building your network.
Right. Okay.
Right. Because it's a networking platform. Everyone says LinkedIn's a social media platform. It's not. It's a networking platform. Right. Like, I don't know many people that sit there and scroll through LinkedIn looking for cool stuff to read. We do it all the time, and I scroll through like Facebook or Instagram or whatever because it's more entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I try and avoid social media. I try and avoid social media platforms because I'd rather read a good book than actually be distracted by an influencer in a bikini.
Both.
Like, I like an influencer in a bikini, but I don't want to spend time too much.
I want the funny videos, I want something to laugh at. Like, there's some good funnies that come up.
What, like cat videos, which have been around for a long time?
Or influencers in bikinis that are falling over and hurting themselves, and those influencers in the wild. It's hilarious.
So what's the social platform search? Influencers in the wild who drink. Maybe, I don't know.
You see that one, influencers in the wild, is hilarious. And then you watch how like the woman is there trying to get a bikini shot, and then the husband's there trying to like, be the man behind the tech and the poses that they do. And then you got someone just filming this whole thing being like, look at these guys. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, well, the trouble is you go through into Europe and you go like, you're in Milan, you're in the square there in front of the cathedral, and it's full of influencers with husbands or partners, boyfriends, or even professional photographers taking photos and going, my goodness, okay, so this is your life. I'm glad you're happy. That's really good. Anyway, we digress.
We did this one, funny story for you here. We did this one and we posted it on. So we've got like a travel Instagram as well. And we posted this one, those expectations versus reality. And there was this one where we were in Athens in Greece, and we're at the Parthenon, and it was quiet, and it was like expectations. It's like we're there and it's like amazing, and there's a picture of me and my wife and the Parthenon behind us, and it looks beautiful. In reality, you scroll down and there's just like lines of people like waiting to get up, and you're like, yeah, that's true. It happens.
Yeah, just don't go to Europe during summer. That's the end of story. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You got it.
All right. So you're typically doing this for more mid to high value businesses. So in other words, someone's selling a $20,000 coaching program or a $100,000 widget that actually takes someone to the moon, right? Like, as an example, but so
probably costs a bit more than $100,000, but yes.
Well, Elon Musk might be running a sale next week. We don't know, but
yeah.
So I'm fascinated by the fact that sounds like you've really growth hacked LinkedIn, which is fantastic, right? I growth hacked Twitter in the day, and I just sort of got over the fact as I just was over battling all the algorithms of the platforms, because one week you can do this, next week you can't do that. The following month you can plug in, and next week you can't plug in. So tell me some horror stories as well as great stories about how you work with LinkedIn, because I've experimented with content on LinkedIn and got like my best post got like I was like top content on LinkedIn back in 2013 with a project about basically why you shouldn't use Facebook. Sort of, I can't remember the exact headline, but I ended up with 300,000 views and like 1,000 comments in days, right? And
amazing.
Yeah. So I hacked LinkedIn in a day back then. How are you dealing with the constant changing? Because Microsoft bought LinkedIn, changed the game again, right?
Absolutely. So
what are some of the secrets to growth hacking LinkedIn to drive leads and sales? Can you give us some insider secrets that you can tell me, but you'd have to kill me if you told me, and no one else would know about it. But so.
Well, I'll give you the broad picture of it. Minus the nuances that make it work. So I think that's fair enough. So what a couple of the big things. I mean, we've tried everything from doing the when you could initially, like blasting out like 200 connections a day. I mean, that's how I grew my LinkedIn very quickly. But then, at the time it was all in South Africa. So now you start going outside South Africa. Now you got all these people from South Africa, and like, okay, now we got to disconnect all of that. But the key thing is, be very intentional about who you are connecting with. The number doesn't mean anything unless it's the right people in there.
And
it doesn't go anywhere.
And they actually engage with you. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you want to be putting content out that your ideal client actually gives a shit about.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I use the example from before, like if you're looking for tech CEOs and you've got software engineers and you're talking about stuff that only CEOs are going to be dealing with, your content's going to go nowhere. But so it's really the key is getting that message really, really dialed in. And so once you've got that dialed in, what we figured out is we've kind of taken the best of automation, think, Infusionsoft, ClickFunnels, like all of these automation tools, CRMs, and outreach on LinkedIn, making it really personal and then putting them together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the key really is once you got that positioning dialed in is to create a lead magnet, right? A very simple lead magnet, which is a piece of the process that you take people through. You drive traffic to that through outreach posts. Once you get one that actually works, you can start running some ads to it as well. Then you start a conversation with people, get the video to them, invite them to jump on a call with you, make some offers, right? Mm-hmm. That is the simplest, most straightforward, direct approach. There's obviously a whole bunch of things in between that make those nuances work. But then the content that you post out is structured in a way that it's taking people down that journey of how you get them from point A to point B, from the pain that they're in right now to the goal that they want to get to.
Yep.
And you want to be releasing these lead magnets at least twice a month on the low end.
Mm-hmm.
So new lead magnets at least twice a month. You can do once a week, right? Getting people to show their interest, raise their hand. And the more you do this, the more people are going to get engaged, because you don't know what that thing is that's going to get them across the line. So we always want to be testing that. And then once you've found the ones that work, you can start running ads to it.
Mm-hmm.
And inviting people to calls. And then what we do is once you've built up a nice profile and you've built up nice connections and people are starting to engage more, is then run an event, run a webinar.
Mm-hmm.
And you can invite all those people through to a webinar. I mean, last year we added over 650 grand to our business, and we were doing 2 webinars a month.
Right.
So just from webinars, right? That was over and above everything else that we were doing.
Yep.
And so it's a cycle. It's like a life cycle. And if you just think about, you want to give people different ways to interact with you and see you in a different light and be able to connect with you in a different way. Whereas most people are just going linear. They're like, okay, I need to just do the outreach, spam the hell out of people, throw my offer out, spaghetti against the wall. Hopefully something's going to stick. And inevitably 1 or 2 things will stick for a time, but it's going to be a lot of hard work to be able to get them there.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah,
we just got, so one last thing is we got one, my business partner just sent me a message from one of our clients now. She's just had 70 people sign up to her virtual event. 60% of them are her exact ideal clients. And she's got 1 sales call booked before the event has even started.
Right.
From the processes that we've taken her through.
Right.
So I'll wait to get the numbers afterwards, but so far so good.
So you're running like a 360-degree marketing that actually runs a range of tactics to actually, rather than just doubling down on one.
Yeah, it's not linear. I mean, people are not linear. I mean, imagine how easy business would be if, you could design a sales process and everyone would just follow it step by step.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a life.
Yep.
But we're dealing with people. It's like worse than herding cats.
Yep.
It's they don't do what you want them to. And then you got to get them to give you a credit card on top of it. Good luck.
Yeah, that's the good luck part. So describe, so your business model for Rainmaker, how does it work? So in other words, how do you onboard clients? What do you charge? What's the process? Give us a bit of a thumbnail sketch of that.
Cool. So we've got 3 different levels at which we play it with our clients. We've got a, come in, done with you. So more like a do-it-yourself with some coaching, which is at $5,000. We've got a done with you, like in depth with one-on-one plus group, which is 10, and we've got a much longer a yearly program, which is 35,000.
Right.
And so what we do is when somebody comes in, we'll do an onboarding session. We'll take a look at, we'll do an audit of their account. So who have you actually got in there? Who are you looking for? Who have you got in there? What's the process?
Yep.
We'll identify, well, what level of the business are you actually at? Some people are at the starting stages, some people are at the growing stages, and some people are at the scaling stage. So have you got your message, positioning, offer dialed in? Have you got case studies? Is it proven? Have you got all of that stuff? If yes, great. We can plug straight into the system, start generating leads, and get this thing moving forward. If you don't, then we've got to go and build that. Mm-hmm. Right, and validate it in the marketplace. I mean, some of our clients, especially in the beginning program that I spoke to you about, they're looking to get their first 1 to 5 clients, or 1 to 5 clients from LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. Right, and so we help them do that, and then we work closely with them over 4 months. And after the 4 months, they can decide, do they want to continue working with us, or have they got enough that they want to continue by themselves? And we've got a couple of options on that.
Yep. Cool. So this sounds very labor intensive. So how do you scale you? Because do you want to be turning up at 12 a.m. to talk to someone in the USA, for example?
No, that's a really good question.
So how do you scale you? In other words, you got to run webinars, you got to do face-to-face, you got to get the lead, you got to convert them to sale. Just listening, I'm exhausted. Tell me how you scale you.
Yeah, no, great question. So we've, after the over the last couple of years, I mean, we actually built all of our processes out. We templated it, then we frameworked them, we did all of that. So what we do now is we've actually built all of our training, all of our processes into AI, which means that when people are coming in, they don't need me so much anymore.
Right.
They don't need us on the delivery side of things. They can go in and answer a couple of questions, and they can get it to 70 or 80, 90% of the way there. And then we help them make some tweaks on the weekly calls. So we still do a couple of delivery calls. At the same time with running the events, I mean, we use Go High Level, and we've got some automation and our AI automation tool as well. We've pre-built the whole system. So for us to run another event, it's like, well, what's the name? What's the topic? We've pre-built all the emails that work. And now to change them over, I've got that as a template. So I can put in the prompts with the new titles and the benefits and all the rest, and it'll write all the emails for me too. So to get up and running is a day, not even a couple of hours. And we're up and running, a new event is set up and going. So everything, we've created systems out of it. We use AI in depth in the business. We use automation. We use the tools available. I mean, running a 7-figure business, and we've got 4 people in the organization.
That's awesome.
So you have to use systems.
Oh, yeah. I think it was George Lucas says, not only need to fall in love with what you do, but fall in love with the process of what you do. So it sounds like you've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have the right people.
Yeah. Oh, you need the right people.
Because I don't love building systems.
No.
But you know what my business partner does? And my wife's actually joined us in the business. She loves building systems. Like, that's her happy place. And then my business partner's wife is in there as well. And, she loves dealing with clients, and, she was an ex-teacher. So we've got this, and I love to be out there selling and being on stage and talking on webinars. So we've got this, it's the right mix of people with the right skills.
Right. Very cool. So using AI to sort of answer the questions, so you built your own sort of custom chat bot. Is that what you're doing?
Yep, to help write the profile for people, to write all their outreach messages, to create their offer if they need it, to create what we call a signature solution. Literally every piece of the process we've built in there. So, you know, when we first started doing this without AI and having to try and work people through the worksheets, it used to take, in some cases, if people weren't like on it, 2 to 3 months before they'd be up and running.
Yep.
Now they're up and running on the first call. I want people to have quick wins, like right from the first call they're launching their first campaign.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, AI is actually amplifying your productivity.
100%, 100%, probably like 1,000%.
Right.
It's wild.
So
the coaches.
Yeah. So you've created your AI chatbots to do this?
We've created our own chatbots. We've created our own GPTs. We've built it into our own platform. So, you know, it's got all of our branding and everything on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually our membership site now. You know, it's no longer a case of let's have 60 videos I remember the first version of the course was 12-hour-long videos. I don't know why the hell anyone watched that, but we sold like 400, almost 500 of those. Mm-hmm. And people got results. So I'm happy with that. But now it's like we've got these short 5 to 10 minute videos, so in bite-sized chunks, which literally explains how to use the AI, what output we're looking for, and how to double check it. And then we've built AIs that will review the outputs to see, is it getting everything that we need in the way that we need it, and, you know, reaching your goals. So now it's the amount of learning that has to happen along the way is dramatically decreased.
Right.
We've done it already.
So you've created an AI assistant for them to actually scale their productivity and also accelerate their velocity.
100%, which means that when they get started, they can start generating leads. The fastest, we looked at it yesterday, the record we've got so far for someone generating a lead from when they've started is 2 hours.
Wow.
Actually getting on it, like not just a lead, which is like, hey, I'm interested, but actually getting them on a call is 2 hours was the fastest one. And they closed the sale. It was like a 10 grand sale.
Wow.
It's wild.
That's very cool. So this is the question. So this sounds really, really cool. And so if you're going to onboard someone, is that done by processes? Do you do it face-to-face? How do you engage it with a client from day one?
We do it face-to-face because we want to make sure that people are going in the right direction. They're thinking about their business the correct way. You know, we found that the start is the most important. Mm-hmm. Because if someone has got their ladder up against the wrong wall, then, you know, I'm going forward, but in the wrong direction. And then we've got to recalibrate, and it's not a great experience for anybody. So the first one we always do in person. My business partner handles the onboarding, and we've got a whole process for absolutely everything, and SOPs and AIs. We've built this. We've been doing it a while now. So he does the onboarding, and then we follow the rest of the journey. Depending on what level people are coming in, it will depend on what level of support they get from us.
Right. Okay. Cool. And what's your ideal customer profile called? ICP is an acronym. So what's your ideal customer profile for Virtual Edge?
So we typically work with B2B service businesses that have, you know, high client lifetime value, you know, which is probably $20,000 plus, because it's going to take some time, energy, and effort. You want to make sure if you're getting on a call with someone, you know, you're going to get the return.
Yep.
So if you're selling a $100 thing, I wouldn't recommend LinkedIn as the place for you to go. Well, not with us anyways. Yep. But we typically look for people who are selling at least something that's $5,000. They've got proven client results. They've got case studies. They've got testimonials. They've got an offer that they've sold, and they're looking to grow.
Right.
You know, if they've got a VA, that's great. And there's two levels. There's the people who are at the place where we want them to be, where we really help them grow, which is they're doing on average, you know, they're doing like $50,000 or $25,000 a month, and they want to get to 100,000 plus. Mm-hmm. And there's the people who are starting out, who are aspirational, who want to get there. They've got the vision. They just need, how do I get there?
Right.
And so if someone's got a team, amazing, either a VA or a sales team, it moves super fast because everything is validated. They just need to grow. If they don't, they want to get there and they want to build that out, in which case we help them do that, build the SOPs, find the right person, take over the day-to-day for them so they can focus on doing the things they love.
All right, cool. Okay, so you've got your ideal customer profile. So $10,000 plus, and B2B is typically where you're focusing, B2B services. So that's cool. So
B2B services.
Yeah, B2B services. So just to wrap it up, this is something I ask every one of my people that I have a chat to, the fireside chat, as we call it.
Love it.
So, Matt, what brings you joy and you would do for free every day if you weren't even paid for it? What brings you deep joy? I'm not talking smoking dope, doing drugs, or hanging out with bikini in Square. I'm talking about deep joy, not frivolity. So tell me what we do.
For me, it's like I'm actually a pretty simple dude. I don't wear designer clothes, or I don't worry about any of that crap. I went through a lot of health challenges a couple of years ago, so for me, it's like being alive is pretty awesome. And something that would bring me joy every day. I think you do something every day, you're going to get bored at some stage. But there's a couple of things I love to do, which is I love to travel. I love to experience new places, new cultures, like food, getting involved in the languages, meeting the people. Like that really is incredible. It's like it lights me up. And fishing. I love fishing. Just being outdoors.
Okay.
Love fishing.
Right. Okay. Well, there's something good about being in nature, certainly. And
it's soul enriching.
Yeah. And I think we need to take our earpods out and listen to the birds occasionally.
That's why I love it.
Yeah.
Most of the places I go to are so remote, there's not even cell phone signal. I mean, we've fished on, I went back to South Africa at the end of last year. My wife needed to go back because she was selling her business and she needed to do a handover. And I was like, I don't want to spend time in Joburg while you guys are, while you're working. So I went on a fishing trip with a couple of buddies to Mozambique. And we went on a yacht. We went about, I think it was about a 40-foot catamaran or 50-foot catamaran. Went out about 30 kilometers out into the ocean, found a reef, and we just caught massive fish for a week.
Wow.
And I came back rejuvenated. We went to the Lower Zambezi in Zambia, tiger fishing, where you're going up and down the river and there's hippos in the river and crocodiles on the river banks and elephants walking past, like in the wild. It's like a different world. Like that's the kind of stuff I like to do, not just, local dam and sit there with cell phone signal and play games.
Well, thank you for sharing all that. And I used to love fishing so much because I didn't catch enough fish. I used to, after half an hour, I wasn't catching fish in the Adelaide Gulf. And Dad said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm just reading a book under the front of the boat." So, and guess what I love doing? I love reading, contemplation, science, writing. So, the other thing that brings me deep joy is having conversations like this and meeting people.
Connecting.
I prefer connecting, yeah. And as I quite often say, this just confirms a Harvard study of 90 years. It shows that the deepest joy is in human connection. And I think in a world of AI, we're going to keep looking into that. So, but thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your insights, and I can see your passion shining through and bring your gifts to the world. So thank you very much, Matt. It's been an absolute joy, mate.
Yeah, it's been amazing, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me on.
And look forward to catching up in real life somewhere in, looks like Asia's your thing at the moment. So, but I haven't done enough of Asia.
At the moment.
So.
Yeah. What kind of books do you like reading?
I'm leaning a lot into AI. The biggest question I have at the moment is, there's two areas. I just interviewed Nick Bostrom, the polymath out of Oxford University, which is about AI is producing, well, can be and is producing an existential crisis. In other words, what makes us human in a world of AI and human? Who are we if AI does everything for us? So for me, I love exploring what I call suitcase words like happiness, success, because you can open up a suitcase with those words in them, and there are many meanings sitting inside there. So, so for me, the books I read about 60 to 70 books a year, and I'm a little bit like what Charlie Munger said about Warren Buffett. He said that Warren Buffett just sits in his ass all day and reads books. I don't know what he does, Charlie said. So, but we live in a world of information. So what you've got to do, you've got to actually consume information, because
100%.
So we need to actually consume so we can actually share and learn and
test and implement.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a bit of a philosophy about life, which is summed up in 5 pillars. Number 1 is, I think as humans, we are creators. So the first pillar is actually discover why you're here on the planet. And as Steven Spielberg said, it usually doesn't shout, it just whispers from behind what you should be doing with the rest of your life. Number 2, then you create something, implement and do. In other words, put your gift out into the world. Number 3 is share that with the world. So it might publish, might be creating a product. Number 4, you actually then need to amplify. And then number 5, you need to actually then keep iterating. So the 5, I call it the freedom code. For me, that's, I discovered at 50 what I should be doing for the rest of my life. And it was basically to follow my curiosity till it became compelling and then create something and share it with the world. And then out of that, I think synchronicity and the world shows up for you. And it's happened for me ever since that discovery. So.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, after you saying that now, I think that, and I gave you a kind of long answer in the story, but that actually is just what you've described.
Yeah, it's, I think, and the other thing that I think I've also learned in the discovery phase, and it's Joseph Campbell said, we don't have any purpose in life but to follow our bliss. And I think the key word in that is follow, which means actually just step into the gap and actually do something, because your purpose is not a destination, it's actually a journey. And that's a cliche, I know, the journey, but the reality is, and mentioned by George Lucas, is what you need to do is you need to not only enjoy what you do, but love the process of what you do. So for me, follow your bliss is not arriving, but in doing and enjoying steps along the way.
100%.
Because none of us will ever arrive. There is no destination.
Yeah.
There's just a journey, and you've got to choose what you love doing. Otherwise, you won't be able to stay the distance. You won't keep stepping in every day. You won't keep stepping up every day. So for me, that's really, really important. So anyway.
I love it. Yeah, no, I mean, like we're talking, that's one of my philosophies as well, is like the goal is not the goal. The journey is the goal.
It is.
You know, the destination is not the goal. It's the journey is the goal. That's where all the fun happens.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you think it's going to be a destination, you turn up to it and you're going, shit, this is actually what I didn't want, or this is not what I expected. And my dad passed away a few years ago, and he had an idea of what the destination was going to be for his life. And he whispered to my brother, sort of like, this didn't turn out the way I expected it, because the destination wasn't what he wanted. And yeah, anyway. So I would.
It never really is.
Yeah.
The idea that you have in your mind and the reality that comes through are very often two different things. you know, because you can be very creative up here, but then it might not be the same. I've experienced that too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, be the old
We all
saying,
have.
be very, very careful what you wish for.
Don't wish your life away. Literally.
So, Matt, thank you very much for a great conversation, and
really cool connecting with you, Jeff.
I would love to catch up in real life, IRL, as they say, acronyms. But so I hate acronyms.
Have you got are you on WhatsApp, or you got iPhone or something?
Yeah, I'm on WhatsApp. So
let's talk numbers and let's chat.
Yeah, exactly.
What's in your WhatsApp quick?
So
it's easier to.
So what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you need? Just my mobiles, or what is it?
Just mobile. Yep.
All right.
It's 61, huh?
Okay. Yeah. Plus 61 413 662 620.
413 662 620.
Yep.
Okay, sweet.
All right. And you can actually dial that in. I can accept you or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Decide, you know.
Yeah.
It was a nice chat. Don't want to talk again or whatever.
No. I would love to. So I'll just wrap it up.
Yeah, it'd be cool,
we'll actually have a bit of a chat afterwards quickly if you want.
Yeah.
Matt, fantastic, mate. It's been an absolute joy, and I can see the passion of life oozing from you. So, and that is fantastic to see. There's a lot of people that are dead on arrival, and you're not one of those.
Yeah, there's too much cool stuff to do. I haven't explored enough yet. You've got to be strong for that, man.
Exactly. So thank you very much, Matt. It's been an absolute joy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff. It's been great connecting.